Art schools are going extinct faster than ever before, and there is a reason they don't want you to panic. There's something they are hiding that could change the entire art world. So let's talk about it. The promise of art schools is absolutely amazing. They promise you your dreams, the most amazing life that you could possibly get. You will be expressing yourself. You will become an artist. You will change the world with your amazing creations. And in order to have that dream reality, you will pay us $50,000 or $100,000, $150,000. This is the promise, an amazing promise. There's just one problem with this promise. The people that get a degree, that get this piece of paper after paying $150,000, these people are not working as artists. Most of them, the majority, 90+%, are not working as artists. And so what is the promise? It's a fake promise. It's not real. Deep inside, you know that it's not real. Deep inside, you know that the majority of artists are not making a living from their practice. And so what are they paying for? $150,000 for nothing. To learn art. To learn art. Wow. Learning something that you can get for free on YouTube. Now what's funny about all of this is that more people are getting a degree every single year. Women are getting a degree, transgenders are getting a degree, men are getting a degree. And so the amount of degree people available increases. The scarcity goes down. The value of the degree goes down. And what you expect when the value of something goes down is that the price also goes down. But what do we see in the art world? What do we see with these art schools? We see that the price just goes up year over year. This is an absolute clown world. This is absolute insanity. People are paying $150,000 for nothing. What do they get with these $150,000? They get massive amounts of debt. They get student loans that they have to pay off for 30 years. But with their degree, they can get a high-level job. And so what do they have to do? They have to work a slave job, a 9-to-5 slave job, where they will slave away 5 days 7 to pay off their student loans. These art schools are the gatekeepers of your dreams, but instead of opening the doors to those dreams, they are slamming them shut in your face, trapping you in a cycle of debt that you will have to pay off for eternity. In a slave job, $25K a year, with which you use 15 or 20 to live, and so $5K paying, that's 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, it's insane. And it's by design. This is how they've designed it. They don't actually want artists. They don't actually want people to step up. They don't actually want people to transform the world. They like the world in the way it is. And you are a very smart person. You are not one of these normies, these people that think that everything is progress, these people that think that we have it so much better than in the times of the histories. You've studied history. You've read some books. You're not one of those clowns that never touched a history book in his life. No, you know. What does a 9-to-5 get you? It gets you 4 weeks of vacation. Back in the worst time to be alive, the so-called Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, the peasants had 120 days off. They had way more vacation than these 9-to-5 slaves, the peasants. And so you know what is actually happening. You know that 1984 of George Orwell was right. George Orwell, the amazing artist, predicted everything. He was right. And as you're reading about these things, as you're reading the internet, you start to see something that's very, very beautiful. There are also these grants. We are not taking advantage of the 18-year-olds all of the time. No, look at this. There are these grants for students who don't have a lot of money, or for students in general, these grants that give them the opportunity to get it way cheaper. $20,000 grant for your studies. Amazing. And so for a brief moment you think, wow, the world has hope. There is hope for us. We are actually doing a kind thing towards those 18-year-olds. But then as you read more, you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, this is too good to be true. Of course it's too good to be true. They are giving a $20,000 grant for these students. And every time they do that, what do the art schools do? They just increase the price point by $25,000, $20,000 to compensate for the grant, and $5,000 just because we can. And this is insane. You start to realize that these grants, these offerings, these help that they provide is nothing more than a discount. And we know what discounts do. We know that discounts are designed to sell more product. It's not designed to help the people out. These schools are not just failing you, these schools are actively working against you to keep you in a debt cycle, to keep you creatively stifled, to keep you financially crippled. And what do they give you? They give you all the useless information that you don't need. They are teaching you how to do oil painting, but you can get that for free on YouTube. They are teaching you how to do philosophy, but you can get that for free on YouTube. They are teaching you how to have a portfolio, but you can get that for free on YouTube. And all the important information on how to actually make money as an artist, on how to actually sell your art, on how to actually get into a gallery, they are gatekeeping that from you. They are not giving you that information. Why are they not giving you that information? Because it makes them more money. The less capable the students are, the longer they will stay and the more programs they will buy. And so they don't have incentives to actually give you the information. They have incentives to keep you longer. And so as you are chasing your dreams, becoming an artist, expressing yourself, having groundbreaking art and the admiration from the people that comes with that, you don't only find yourself fighting the debt cycle, you also find yourself having to penetrate this gate-kept information, the information that is actually important, and the trajectory, the path towards becoming a full-time artist is littered with debt cycles, with false information, with manipulation, with abuse by these art schools. The other day I'm talking with one of the professors, one of those top 10 art schools in the world, absolute top-notch. Super friendly guy. He's in his late 50s, doesn't know anything about tech, he has no fashion style, you know the type. And he talks to me that he is afraid of what is coming. There are some budget cuts coming, and he was perhaps a little bit vocal about particular topics online, and so he's afraid that he might suffer from the whole thing. And I tell him to simply start a YouTube channel. You don't even have to do anything. You already have courses. Just record the courses and then upload them to YouTube. And he says, no, can't do that because I'm afraid of that. And I ask him, why are you afraid? What's the worst thing that can happen? And I already know what he's going to say, the same old story. Well, it's perhaps I will lose my authority because it's not professional enough. Perhaps people will think that I said something wrong and then fire me for that. Perhaps it's like the regular stuff, you know. And he says to me, well, before I prepare for my Photoshop classes, the night before, I go on YouTube and I look at the videos, and then oftentimes I just say the exact same thing as those YouTube videos. And so if I would upload that, then people would suddenly see that I am literally copy pasting other people's videos. Now, my naive artist brain is going there, you know, like what the hell is going on? So these college students, these 18-year-olds are paying $150,000 to listen to a guy reiterating what he saw the night before on YouTube. That is what's going on. Anyway, you are somewhat of a genius yourself. You are looking out in the world, and what are you seeing? You are seeing something very peculiar. You see that in the art world, skill doesn't actually matter. So what the hell is going on? What you are observing is great artists, absolute amazing artists that don't have any marketing skill and they fail. And what are you seeing? Bad artists. Artists that can't do anything with great marketing skills, and they are absolutely winning. They are crushing everyone. And so what are these art schools actually teaching? Nothing. What should they be teaching? Marketing. That's what they should be teaching. That's the only skill that actually matters in the art world. And are these professors teaching that? No, they're not. Why not? Because they can't. They don't have marketing skills. These professors are selling books, but nobody is buying their books. And the couple of people that are buying their books are students because they are forced to buy the books. If they don't buy the books, they don't get the grades. And so these professors are very terrible at marketing. They can't even teach you that. What the hell is going on? And as you're sitting there in your studio, you cannot but think by yourself, wow, am I actually participating in this mess? This dystopian future where 18-year-olds are abused, are enslaved for 30, 40, 50 years because they simply don't know any better. Sold a dream, which would be okay if the colleges actually provide that dream and help them accomplish that dream. But that is not what's going on. Anyway, for those who want to be better than those professors at marketing so that they don't have books that don't sell or have to force their friends to buy their stuff, there is a free PDF art virality checklist where I outline a couple of tips to get your stuff going online. Link in the description. And suddenly it all makes sense. All this time that you were meeting artists in parties, at dinners, at events, at art fairs, they all were telling the same story. I used to make a lot of art, but then I got saddled up with that, and now for the last 15 years I haven't touched a brush. And all this time you thought they were weak. You thought that they simply were quitters. But now you know they were not weak. They were victims. They were victims and didn't want to tell you the truth because of the same reason sex victims don't want to tell the truth. Why? Because it's just not fun if people don't believe you. It's in fact way more painful if people don't believe you. And so what it is artists do, they just shut up and deal with it and work in slavery. Those poor victims. Those poor artists were not just robbed of their money, but the creative juices were sucked out of them in the name of profit by those art institutions. And after all of that, you sit in your studio and you think by yourself, I'm sick of all the losing that America is doing. I'm sick of the legacy meeting pushing things in our throats like gooses. I'm sick of the institutions abusing and manipulating everyone. I'm sick of it all. So what am I going to do? With my 4 weeks of slave vacation, I am going to Europe this year. And so you go to Europe, and after you've enjoyed the French cheese and the Belgian chocolate and the UK stabbing, you meet a fellow artist. One that went to one of these European art schools in Germany where everything is free. Amazing Germany with amazing alumni, students and great hot German women. And he is telling you all about it, how amazing it was, the best time of his life, and he can't believe that you pay 150k of tuition money in America. It's insane, it's absolutely nuts. I had the greatest moments of my life in those German schools. And as you're listening to the story, you cannot but think by yourself, who the fuck do these Europeans think they are? They actually believe it is free over here. Who is paying for the buildings? Who is paying for the paychecks of the professors? Who is paying for that? The government. And how are they paying for that? With taxes. And who is paying the taxes? The people who live in those countries. These European fools think their schooling systems are free, but the people are paying for it. And not just that, they are also paying for the foreigners that come over. So they're paying for the foreigners and for their own college tuition. And not just that, if you don't go to college in Europe, you still pay taxes. And so you're paying even if you don't go. It's obligatory pay without obligatory use. And so these Europeans, making fun of us, thinking that they are so much more cultured with their old buildings that date back from the 11th century and the oldest university ever and all of that stuff. You suddenly realize they are full of shit as well. By the way, if you're from Europe, don't take this personally. I'm from Europe, and let's be real. It took us a long time before we started realizing that the schooling system here is absolutely not free and that everybody is paying for it and that we are equally screwed. Now this whole system here in Europe, this is what they call European equality. And it's amazing. And so you come back from your culture trip to Europe. You go back to your studio full of newfound energy and inspiration. And the aftertaste of French cheese is in your mouth as you're sitting there in front of your craft single piece of cheese. And you suddenly realize where the name comes from. They literally crafted the cheese. They've been selling you victory cheese your entire life. And you realize everything now. It's all clear. The Canadians are wrong. The Europeans are wrong. The Americans are wrong. The educational system is wrong. The whole thing is fucked up. High school doesn't prepare you for the university. The university doesn't prepare you for real life. Real life doesn't prepare you for the rate of your dreams. But there is a solution to all of it. That is what this video is about. This is the 21st century. We have created new pathways. We have created new systems. We have created new ways to chase your dreams. There are ways to go into the creativity forest of your imagination and slay the dragon and come back with a heroic victory story of how you figured out to paint with lightning from the sky, like a Zeus, like a god, coming from the heavens, walking down on the peasants of the art world, the Central St. Martin systems that promotes stealing from other artists with their loser spot painting, stealing from Thomas Downing, but oh my god, you have no idea yet. I am coming for you. And I know you guys are watching. You are using these videos to prepare for your art classes in your schools. Anyway, let's calm down, because a lot of people are saying to me that they don't like it when I'm screaming in the videos. It's too much energy. So here's the solution. What are you going to do? Well, there's a system that you can follow that will cost you 100 times less and will give you way better results. The system is comprised of two elements. The first element is very simple. Buy 25 books. Now, in order to make sure that 25 books will actually give you a better education than any art school out there, you have to buy them from 5 categories. The first category is autobiographies. 5 autobiographies or biographies of creative people, artists that you admire and want to be like. Second category are how-to books. 5 how-to books that will enable you to learn skills that you assume will make you money in the marketplace. Third category is marketing and business. You pick 5 books that are recent in the last 15 years that are explaining things about marketing and small businesses, and then you execute on everything. Execute on everything. Also, I have a free PDF where I explain some art virality strategies for art people. It's free, link in the description, will definitely help you out. Fourth category, art history. Pick 5 books from art history so that you don't look like a fool when you're talking with art people. One of those books should definitely be this one. This is probably one of my favorite ones. Art in Theory, 20th Century. 5, considering that you're very young, buy 5 self-help books. You only need 5. They are all copy-pasting each other. More than 5 is a waste of time, but 5 will actually help. Now, the next and final piece of this system is to find a community of successful artists. And we are not talking about a low-level university community, because those low-level communities are full of 18-year-olds. And 18-year-olds is another word for people with potential or losers. They have nothing to share with you. What are you going to learn from an 18-year-old? Nothing. They can't teach you anything. And so you need a community of successful artists. You need a community where artists are selling art every single month. Now, the following recommendation is going to piss off the peasants of the world. How dare you take on these universities? How dare you challenge the status quo, Dries? How dare you suggest that you might even be able to do better than those university systems? How dare you? But this is, of course, one of the fights that we are taking on. So you hear me coming. I obviously build a community like that where successful artists gather. Some are selling at a $2,000 price point, some are selling at a $20,000 price point. You can connect with them, you can interact with them, you can ask them questions, you can learn from each other. It's absolutely amazing. Small community at the moment, but the average artist in that community is of a much higher level than you can find at universities. On top of that, there's a video where I explain everything I learned about making money as an artist. Link in the description and the end screen. Don't forget the PDF. That said, get the hell out of here.